Tuesday, July 9th at 4:30. First order of business will be Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The beeping is down here too. Alright. Approval of minutes from June 25th.
Make a motion to accept those minutes as printed.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Non-public minutes from June 5th, 25th made public.
I'll make a motion to accept those minutes as printed.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And a second set of non-public from June 25th.
Make a motion to accept those minutes as printed.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the manifest payroll $40,334.62. Payroll liability is $11,819.82. Accounts payable $121,746.51 and $325,000 to the elementary school.
Make a motion to accept the manifest.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we will open the public hearing in accordance with RSA 41-9-A to discuss and receive input on addition to the recreation program fees. The proposed fee is for the early drop-off late pickup, $5 per event. Correct? I think we pretty much covered it at the last meeting, but this is a formality. Anybody have anything to offer?
Is that up to 1 hour?
Yes,
So if someone is 10 minutes late, they still pay 5.
right.
Okay.
Don't you have a fee already in place though
Oh,
for
for
somebody
late?
who's late? Like,
Yes,
so if they were past 5 o'clock, you
Yeah,
can
there's a
instill
whole
the
nother-
late fee,
that's a whole nother thing.
which we've done before.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's been approved.
This is for prepay, so if they, instead of coming at 9, they wanna come at 8, and they tell you ahead of time, they pay an extra
Oh, okay,
$5.
all
Or
right.
if
Yeah.
instead of coming at 4, they wanna come at 5, they pay an
Stay till
extra.
5,
Stay till
yeah.
5, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't look like we have any comment unless.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, my name is Bill Webster. I have a couple of questions regarding this.
Yep.
Person shows up at 8 o'clock to pays a $5 fee. Is the town gonna have somebody there that we're paying $18 or $20 an hour to babysit for that hour?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna be incurring a fee, so somebody can send their kid for $5 extra.
I think the thought process is we'll probably have 3 to 5 kids. Do you have a number of kids that are already,
Right now, I think we have 8, so it would have to make it worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that
but
just
right
seems-
now we
Yeah.
have 8 kids, so
Right
it'll
now
be
it's really not
$40
worth it.
covering that
Yeah.
$18.
Right.
And will that early, like I said, early bird drop-off be covered by such things as insurance, medical, things like that for the people that will be there early?
Yeah, so we should be covered no matter,
Or you mean
Yeah,
like
no.
our insurance, like
Yeah.
Primex insurance?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if a kid gets hurt in that hour,
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of
Our whole
Yeah.
program is covered regardless of,
okay,
I mean,
Yeah.
to my understanding, we could hold it at midnight if we wanted to, but,
it's up to you.
right.
Having kids and teenagers at midnight, no thanks. Thank you.
Joe?
Just a quick question, do you have to have 2 counselors there?
No, not necessarily,
Okay,
we
I
could
was
just
just-
do the one, yeah,
I was just
Yeah.
thinking like for child safety stuff.
yeah,
Do you-
yep,
We have a 1 to 12 ratio,
yep,
is what the state statute, I believe, is 1 to 17. Our local statute is, or
No, just
a little
make sure it's
lower.
staffed enough
Yeah.
to,
yeah.
Yep. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Are you good with the fee?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept that fee of $5 an hour.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Fair enough. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Public comment?
Sharon asked me to just read a letter, submit a letter to the board as the ABC. My name is Joe Dame. I'm the vice chair of the Madison Advisory Budget Committee. Sharon's out with an injury, so she hasn't been able to attend. She sent me a letter today and just wanted me to present it to the board. So Sharon Schilling, Chair, Advisory Budget Committee to the Board of Selectmen. Good afternoon. I am writing as the chairman of the ABC to express concern of our recent Selectmen's purchasing decisions. I regret due to an injury, I am unable to present this in person. The process used to purchase a new grader with a cost to the taxpayer of approximately $500,000 was rushed, lacked appropriate analysis, was devoid of process, and disregarded taxpayer impact. I recognize that once initially brought before the Board of Selectmen by the head of the DPW, there was only a 45-day window in which to make this decision. However, there appears to be no attempt to engage the taxpayer during that time, nor does there appear to be any analysis as to why the town needed to purchase a new grader, especially one that expensive and state-of-the-art. The ABC was only aware of the course of action the Selectmen undertook at the May 28th meeting when an ABC member attended the June 11th meeting. This course of action was also taken without a town vote, putting the taxpayers in a corner come next year's town meeting to ratify actions already undertaken by the Board of Selectmen. Given the shortened decision timeline, I would expect that the Board of Selectmen would have been presented with a thorough analysis regarding the multiple options available to them, i.e. leasing a grader, subcontracting out road grading, purchasing a comparable CAT 120 vice a 140 road grader, and lastly, repairing our current machine. I would expect that the analysis would include several bids, quotes from dealers, along with why the recommendation that the town purchase a new grader from Milton Cat. I recognize that repairing our current machine is not necessarily the path to take given its 1987 age. Upon investigation and discussion as to where the planning and funding for a replacement machine is in the budget, capital improvement plan, or the heavy equipment ETF, there appears to be none, indicating that the DPW had not planned for obsolescence of this piece of equipment, even though it was nearly 40 years old and had already cost the town almost $60,000 to repair. At the ABC meeting of June 18th, this item was on the agenda based on the discussion at the June 11th Selectmen meeting. Analysis was presented, but that initial analysis was researched and created by Vice Chair of the ABC, Joe Dame, and not the head of DPW as it should have been. The discussion of the analysis led to several critical questions. One regarding the exact wording of the contract escape clause, for which there was no current answer, and it required additional research. As a result, the ABC made no recommendation to the town regarding this purchase due to the significant lack of information. Without benefit of a full analysis and proper planning and procedures for procurements and acquisitions, the Selectmen have placed the town in a crisis decision-making mode as opposed to planning for the town's future. The ABC questions the due diligence of monetary decisions made by the Selectmen regarding this purchase. I am aware that the Selectmen were advised by the town's lawyer that they were within their rights to make this decision and sign this contract without benefit of a taxpayer vote at a town meeting. There are many instances where I think just because you can does not mean you should. And in my opinion, this is one of them. I recognize that they saw an opportunity to obtain a new piece of equipment before it got snatched up by another town. But we should do that at the expense, but should we do that at the expense of such things as a thorough and complete information, taxpayer input, transparency, and process? Again, in my opinion, the Selectmen appear to have been singularly forced on buying a new grader and completely disregarded any other acquisition procurement process decision rigor designed to keep the town from spending taxpayer money unnecessarily. Now that this decision has been made and the purchase agreement signed, I ask that the selectmen delve deeper into the status of all town equipment to assess its age and status. I believe that there are other pieces of equipment that need repair or replacement, and the selectmen are completely unaware and could be back in the same situation, forced to make a large procurement decision without the benefit of information and time, disrupting the budget process unnecessarily. Thank you for listening, and I offer any support needed to avoid this situation again. Sharon Schilling. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Does it bother you at all to have to read that when she's doubting all of your research? That's my question.
No, she asked me to present it because she couldn't be here herself, so.
Yeah, well, it seems you put a lot of time and effort into the actual research on that, and then you just threw it all under the rug.
No, she asked me to present her views.
Discussion items and new business. Kathy Kozel requesting update on STRs. Nick or Bill, I assume you're here to speak on her behalf.
Well, I guess I drew the short straw. How's that? Bill Dempster, 157 Doe Drive. I was asked on Monday from a call from Kathy at the airport. She's down attending her elderly father. I understand she's put in a letter of proxy, somebody would represent in her stead, and I guess that is me. I guess there's just two things on the agenda. One is an update or status report on the complaint of injunction against the owner of 10 Barton Place, and particularly an update with new information that was introduced, I believe 2 weeks ago, which I sent into the town administrator to forward on to Cordell Johnson with regards to the gentleman who's still advertising his place for rent. So if you could give an update on 10 Barton Place, we'll take this one question at a time, and then the other question was, what about is Cordell Johnson, I'm assuming he's representing the town on this. What about legal fees and any other fees that the town incurred to prosecute and pursue this case? So that's the one.
10 Barton Place. I know these by name and not by address for some reason.
Gage.
That's the Gage.
10 Barton, yes, it's Gage.
So that's a matter of public record now. We've entered into an agreement that Gage has agreed not to rent his place, and that matter is settled.
Did somebody tell him that? Because he's still advertising as of last week.
I have
Well-
information on that if you'd like it.
Sure.
So I did get an email from Bill that said that it was still showing up on VRBO.
Mhm.
I did forward that to Cordell. Cordell got in touch with Mr. Gage, and Mr. Gage said that he had taken it down. He swore up and down he was doing this. He even went so far as to just totally delete his VRBO account, and Cordell felt confident that he was keeping up with the agreement, that there was some problem unless someone was doing it on his behalf or something, but it's being.
So it sounds like a technical
addressed.
error to me. It shouldn't be on there, and he has no intent of renting it. He is bound by the agreement, which has gone before the court and signed by both us and him, to not rent that place.
And how about the civil fees, civil fines, any fees coming due to the town?
In my opinion, it makes no sense to go after fees from somebody who has come into a compliance, because that is the whole point, is compliance. It hasn't cost us a ton of money to get into this agreement with him, and it sets an example going forward.
If I may respond, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
yeah.
It's sort of setting a precedent. And if you think about it, you're setting up code enforcement with a paper tiger. Because if there's nothing there to back up, we threaten people to say, if you don't, it doesn't matter if it's an STR, an LTR, I don't care. If you in fact have somebody that's violating, and we just say, well, if you're in compliance, then you don't have to pay anything. I mean, this guy willingly, he knew the risks, and he continued on. So that's my question. And secondly, in a roundabout way, that 20K is town taxpayer money.
We wouldn't get that.
You don't.
We've gone through this with another situation regarding a junkyard in town, and fines were racked up into tens of thousands of dollars. The judge didn't give that to us. There was no way a judge is gonna give us that kind of money. We got another case here, this is, same idea because of penalty. Because of a lack of building permits, this person racked up $396,000 in fines. There is no way in God's green earth that we're gonna take that to court and get $396,000.
There's nothing you can do, a lien on their property.
We'd have to go to court.
I think John's point is that no judge is gonna make them pay the full amount. It's gonna get cut regardless. They did it to us at the junkyard.
Totally understand. You know, go in at 60,000, and certainly, or 20,000, certainly come back and say, hey, we'll give you a break. Half, you can pay half of it. That's my point. And it certainly leads into the next question or case that Kathy Kozel brought up, and that is 81 Knight.
That is what?
If I'm not mistaken, that property is up for sale or
It's sold,
sold
actually.
and is
It's-
no longer being rented.
Correct.
So it's the same situation. That was $63,525. And
Right,
they
so-
they were offered opportunities by Chris Bolt. And he read to them the RSA at their meetings, every meeting, and the attorney, and said, this is what's going to happen. You continue to rent, then you run the risk of these fees accruing.
All right, so two things. One, once they have filed their appeal to the ZBA, they are legally allowed to continue renting until the ZBA has made a decision without incurring any fines.
Is there an RSA that explains that?
There it is.
There is, I don't know it off the top of my head, but there is.
So it happens to be RSA 676-6.
Yeah.
That says that it accrues. And that's what Attorney Bolt explained to everyone at the meeting. He was pretty adamant about it. So maybe misunderstanding how that, we probably should get that clarified. Because there's a dozen of them out there right now.
Well, attorney will have to talk to attorney on that one. Regardless, it's the same thing, and the flip side to your argument is if we get somebody to come into compliance and then we still fine them, why would anybody else come into compliance? They're gonna have to pay the fine anyway. What is the point? So the point is to get people into compliance, and that is what you guys are looking for, is to get people to stop renting short-term rentals. And that is what they're doing by coming into compliance.
So the other 12 cases that are before the ZBA, even if they're denied, we're just not gonna fine them. Is that what
I
I'm
didn't
understanding?
necessarily say that's the case. Obviously, every case has to be handled differently, but this property is under agreement with us and the other property is sold within a short period of time based on what has happened.
Mhm. So, I'm sorry, I still have the floor. My pet peeves. It doesn't show that we're serious about this, and that's what I'm concerned about. I mean, this, to be honest with you, I can tell you right now, because I've been tracking this. If you look at all the fees that are remaining, by August 1st, that bucket is $1 million. 12 people. That's a significant amount of money. It's not somebody not putting in the right electrical. And in particular, some of these units they have come in compliance, they've gone to long-term rentals. So now the abandonment clock ticks on these, according to our zoning ordinances. But you still got those out there. Some of these have got $90,000 in late fees. They've been told you can stop. They continue on to rent. Some of these are making, during the period we said cease and desist, they're making $30,000, $40,000. All you gotta do is look at your DNA and do the math. It's pretty simple. So where does the town, it sort of shows we're not really serious about this. I mean, great, you got one to come in compliance. And you
Well,
don't
that's
have
two
any,
we've just talked about today, but I know that there's more than that have come into compliance.
I can tell you how many there are.
Well, you just said one, but I'm pretty sure last time you were here, you said 37 or
There's
something.
37 that have stopped renting.
Right.
Whether they've done it through a sale and the new owner said, no, I'm gonna keep it as a primary unit, or whether the people have gone to a long-term rent, which is some of the cases that are at the ZBA now, or they just stopped altogether, whatever the case may be. economics, I don't know, but they have ceased.
So they've gotta think we're pretty serious if they're stopping. That's my-
You can read that any way you like, Mr. Chairman. I'm not gonna inject, I just look at the facts. And it could be that what's going on in town, maybe not. The other thing you gotta understand, there's also about a dozen new ones that have come on board. So,
And as I've stated before, we need to wait for it to hit court before we can really start pursuing anything, because the further we pursue, the more money we spend on it, just to find out that the court says that our zoning isn't, it's a crapshoot. And
That's-
I just assume not waste money.
I understand about wasting money. That's not what I was asked to talk about, so I'm not gonna respond to that. I do have just a couple of questions with regards to 81 Knight. How and when was that decided to forgive that?
What was that again?
How and when was it decided to forgive the civil funds? Was that done by a vote, or was it?
I don't recall off the top of my head, or I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't recall off the top of my head.
Because I remember last year sitting in these chambers, and there was somebody that came to the board to forgive a $100 fine. The board had to vote on. And then at the March 19th non-public, that was when it was decided by a vote by the board to go with to pursue Mr. Gage. And now all of a sudden, this just shows up and we're not pursuing it. There was no vote taken, nothing. I'm just trying to understand why, who made that decision. Was there any outside input, any recommendations to not pursue it?
I mean,
No,
as
I
I've
just
already
trying to
stated,
figure
the
out-
recommendation is that if people come into compliance, that is your best option, rather than pursuing fines after compliance.
Okay. One other question that Kathy had. Attorney Johnson is representing us with the 10 Barton Place. He's representing the town. Will he continue to represent the town on behalf of any future court cases regarding short-term rental properties?
It depends.
Yeah, it depends on his availability.
And if it's a zoning case,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be Cordell.
Right.
A zoning application.
Yeah, it depends on his availability, one, and two, whether or not they're going after the ZBA or if they're coming after this board, because the ZBA obviously has their own attorney.
Understand, Chris Bull. I'm
So-
talking about if the STR owners decide to also name the town of Madison in the lawsuit.
I believe they would have to name a specific board based on the decision. So if it would be the complaint that they're attacking us for, whether it be the ZBA's decision to deny their appeal, whether it be an enforcement action that they're appealing in general. It depends on what the case is. So yes, Attorney Johnson is our attorney.
He's attorney for the select board or for the town?
Board of Selectmen,
Board of
the town.
Selectmen. Town doesn't have an attorney.
Okay. Okay. That's all she had. Appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Nick, did you have something to say on that?
This is only my opinion. When
State your
you,
name.
I'm sorry, Nick Borelli.
Thanks, Bill.
In my opinion, it doesn't make sense not to at least put the fine in place on these people that you're saying, well, once they comply. Because what happens is now you have other people, they are truly complying without even having to be, put a cost to the town. So it's a double-edged sword. If you let these people get away without paying something for the town's time, the office work, the attorney, and all that, even if you get half, like this one here, 81 Knight, why wouldn't you, it's up for sale, you say you can't put, why wouldn't you put a lien on it?
We would have to go to court to do that. Only the courts can impose the fines. We can't impose the fines. Only the court can impose them.
Okay.
And in order to do that, we have to send our attorney
Mhm.
at hundreds of dollars per hour to try to collect a number that is unrealistic. It's just-
90,000, was it 90? There's $65,000 there.
We wouldn't get that.
Well, even if it
So-
was half.
Just,
I'm telling you, the courts side not with towns generally.
But I thought things changed according to the RSA, where the attorney, when a judgment is made, it automatically, they have to pay without even asking the judge. The judge has to give the town the amount they've asked for court fees and fines.
so, if I recall correctly, the junkyard case was close to $30,000 in fine, and we ended up receiving $4,000.
Something like that, and it probably costed more than 4,000 to collect it.
Right.
Yeah, but we're
So
not
you-
talking $4,000, we're talking,
But you're talking, 30 to 4, 60 to 10, how much is it gonna cost us to fight it? How much more time is it gonna cost us to try to go after that $10,000 we might get?
that's a letter.
Well, I'm all done with that.
Okay,
Right, no,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, that's my opinion, that's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Can I just ask one thing?
Sure,
David
David.
Steer, County Sun. When was the Barton place wrapped up? Was that recently? I tried to check the court docket and I didn't see any action since.
That place sold 2-3 months ago now?
Oh, Gage?
Oh, the Gage place, no, that
That just happened.
just happened at our
June-
last
June 20
non-public,
yeah.
yes,
Okay.
It was written up June 25th.
yeah. You're supposed to keep my timeline, Linda. So.
And I'm not familiar with the 81 night. Is there a way I can look at the file tomorrow morning on that?
If you wanna stop by and talk to Linda, you're
Yeah,
very welcome.
that's my plan. Linda's around.
It'd be Kate, she's
Kate,
Okay. All right. See you tomorrow.
see you throwing her under the bus because she's not here today. All right, Silver Lake rafts. I remember this conversation last year, but I don't remember why. Somebody didn't want it out, and I don't remember why.
There was complaints about it, and I remember Mike Morris saying, well, we should just pull it out, and then you thinking that you liked the raft and you wanted to talk about it again before this summer. I think someone's dragged one over to the, is that,
Yeah, so it never got decided what to do with it at the end of last summer.
Which one are we talking about? Foot of the lake or head of the lake?
Had. And we had that, somebody last summer dragged the, I don't know who it was, but dragged it over. It was at the foot, that little plastic dock.
Yeah.
Hauled it over to the head of the lake and put it in. And it hadn't been in for, I don't know, a couple of years or something like that, but anyway, then we talked to you guys last summer about it, but it was at the end of the summer. We ended up taking it out at the end of the summer. You didn't make a decision whether you wanted it in this year again. I forgot all about it, but last week, somebody dragged it back over from the foot to the head. So now it's sitting there and
Sitting on the beach.
sitting on the beach. And there is a ladder for it. We took the ladder off because we couldn't stack it last fall with the ladder on it, so it's in, but apparently somebody talked to the guys last week and said that they just bought a ladder for it. But we have a ladder for it, I just,
Was it, somebody mentioned a safety concern last year, and I don't remember what it was or if it was even valid. Too close to the swim line or,
it has to be close to the swim line to get out. It's deep, it's really deep there, but
Right.
that drops off really
right,
steep, and I don't know, things have definitely changed from when I was a kid, but,
and the condos put in a
oh yeah,
dock,
they put in the docks there.
which,
But it's people from the condos that want it there, so
Is there some way we can moor that thing? Is the mooring still there?
it's there, but somebody's gonna have to dive down to find it, to get it.
how deep is it right there? Do you know how deep it is right there?
It's
Just
deep.
curiosity.
Be a nice little summer camp project, you know?
Yeah, I got a bunch of the kids diving down, find it the mooring. Yeah.
We'll give them a prize. They do
I
it.
don't have any problem with it going out. I'd like to see it back out there, but
So we're talking about that, and we're talking about the foot of the lake at the same time? Are we doing anything with that issue? Supposedly it's in shallow water.
it's not too shallow. I just jumped off it last week.
So,
It looks like it's a little closer than it usually
Oh.
is. It looks weird.
So that was you complaining.
No.
I don't know how, if it's moved, it doesn't,
I mean, it does move some regardless.
Yeah,
It's not, yeah, but,
so we have to have some length.
Right.
We don't have a shot cord on that. We have just straps.
yep,
And if we don't have some length on there, the waves get pretty big on a windy day. And it will lift that cover right up off the mooring
Yep.
anchor, right? So, and it'll move it, but if we leave a little bit of length on that, it doesn't tend to do that. So it does have a lot of movement. But even at its closest to the beach, it's still 10 feet of water.
okay.
Ask me how I know. But, and the ladder issue, one of the ladders, a weld was broken. I don't know how it broke,
I'll
but
tell you.
I took the ladder off because it's in disrepair. So there's only one ladder on the raft now.
I think John wants to confess to breaking the law.
I went down to the beach after reading this memo that circulated. Went down the next night, next afternoon, sat there. And watched kids pick rocks up and throw rocks at the raft, jumping up and down, trying to make it move. And I almost wanted to go out and say, do we have some parents here? I mean, they were making that raft do this, jumping from one side to the other side. If we remember, a couple of years back, we made the Conway Daily Sun, where they floated out picnic tables and put them on the raft to dive off the raft. It made the paper. That picture they put in Saturday where it says, Life in the Valley or whatever it is. I said, that's our lake. People have to respect this stuff. They wonder why things get damaged and broken. There were rocks on top of it, this big. Throwing rocks on top, and then throwing rocks back in the water. Could be somebody underneath that. That's my say. Can we fix it? Is it fixable?
So 3 years ago, I put a new, the thought was that the deck had rotted out and I peeled off the old outdoor carpeting, golf carpeting I called it, and the deck is solid. It's good marine plywood was used on that. So I recovered it. The same type of material that was on there before. It's about 3 years old now. 2 years. So in the ladders, we have to, the two handles that come up and over the top are stationary, and the ladders are designed to fold up, but we can't do that. We have to bolt them in place so that they don't fold up. I think what happened to the one that broke was the kids were hanging on to those upper arms, one on each side, and were trying to rock the raft as much as they could, and it broke the weld. So I have sourced out a couple new ladders for it. As far as any danger, I'm not seeing any sharp edges, and where there were some, I used a sealant over the heads of screws that hold the railings around the edge of it down. I sourced out a couple of ladders, but they're expensive. For 2 ladders, you're looking at about $1,500. And then we got getting away from it a little bit, but we got an email, actually I get an email, somebody that was not happy with the boat launch dock because there were no bumpers, they were getting scratched up. Somebody wanted to screw old fire hose on it, and they said, no, we're not gonna be drilling into it. So I got four 3-foot bumpers to put on it. They stand upright, and I put them on last week. And already somebody has been on that reefing it back and forth, and it's like, you can't win, you know? And those were
Besides, the
over
bumper should be
$300 for
provided by the
those.
person who owns the boat, not the town who owns the dock.
But
Bumpers are made for boats, I know that.
I wouldn't let my 11-year-old daughter on that raft if I thought it was unsafe. And she swims out there, and when she can get the big boys to get off it, she'll swim out there, you know? But, I mean, kids are kids, you know, they're gonna, if it's there and they can make it rock, they're gonna think they can flip it over, they can't, but
And try like hell.
they'll try, yeah.
So, the one at the foot is fine,
That's fine.
it's fine. I don't, do you need another ladder?
Nope.
Alright, we're good with
I'll
ladders.
see what we can do next year with it, to put ladders on there, but I don't see it in the intention for
I
this
think
year.
it's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you good with putting the one out at Monument Beach or at the head?
If we can get someone down there to take a dive,
Well, I think that there's a bumper buoy that's on the mooring out there that we left there last year. So the mooring, it's outside the swim line.
well,
So do you put it back outside the swim line, or do you want it inside the swim line? Because it may be too shallow inside the swim line.
yeah, we don't want anybody taking a header. I would put it outside the swim line, that's my opinion.
I remember right, I think the original dock up there was outside the swim.
I believe
The
so.
dock, the original
Not
dock
that.
is, yeah.
I'm talking 30 years ago. There was always a dock there, I think.
Yeah.
You're not that old, are you?
Yeah. I'll still get 35 years ago, probably.
So, yeah, I guess if we can get it in,
I'm good with it.
Okay.
Get it in.
Bigger pile, smaller shovel.
Wasn't it you that asked me about putting it in?
No, it was not.
my concern is if we leave it there,
Yeah.
if somebody pushes it out and the wind turns around from north to south, next thing you know, that's in the middle of the lake.
Mhm.
Alright.
So what do we do? We're putting it in.
Putting it in.
I'm
Putting it in. Anything else you want me to add to your agenda, Dave?
I think there's gonna be something coming up. Is it okay to say no?
Depends.
My horoscope today said it was okay to say no.
Alright.
I'm kidding.
24, 25 fuel bids.
Yep, they were just by email, and kind of the top numbers there. Eastern and Irving,
So, Eastern is cheaper on number 2, but more expensive on propane. It's only a $158 difference based on usage.
right, right, correct, and Irving would be the $158 more expensive, and if we.
We'd
and-
have to swap tanks.
Exactly,
So we're sticking with Eastern.
well, that's up to you guys. And, just saying, Eastern offers the employees, Irving doesn't.
Mhm.
I mean, I say we stick with Eastern.
Yeah, not to want to sound selfish or anything, but the deal that Easton gives employees is terrible.
It did used to be better.
Huh?
It used to be the same amount that the town paid.
It's not even close now, it's over $3 a gallon.
This year was gonna be $3.40.
$3.49?
Yeah, 349, I think.
$3.40.
Yeah, $3.39 and $3.49.
Right, it depends if you paid upfront, $3.40 or $3.45. But actually, me already being an Eastern oil thing, if you do it on their website, it's 20 cents more than, so we're getting a 20 cent
Yeah.
than just the average
Well,
Joe.
from the town side, I guess that's the best deal. From the employee side, that's a great, I mean,
Yeah, and you can, I mean, being the same as last year, you figure our fuel bill will probably be about the same this year as it was last year.
Right.
Into next year too, so it goes through next July. May, sorry.
I'm good with Eastern.
yeah, we'll go with Eastern. How does this affect our gasoline? Separate company?
Separate.
Our gasoline is Gordon Burke,
Yeah.
but they still do our diesel, but we just get whatever the daily price is on diesel.
Okay.
We don't get any
Okay.
thing with that.
Yeah, I'm good. I'd make a motion that we would accept the contract from Eastern Propane in oil.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. They won't offer us any discount on diesel because we've been such a loyal customer.
We kind of do. We don't pay tax on it.
Yeah, but that's not them.
Yeah, no.
PO1 tax payment to VDOE.
Basically, just wanted to make sure it was okay with you guys to pay them ahead of time, because technically we don't have to pay them until 30 days after ours are due. 30 days? 30 days.
What does that cash position look like?
We're great. We got our good CoreLogic, huge chunk payment for the mortgages and that kind of thing, so we're fine.
So we can write that check for $395,000?
Yeah, it won't be for 2 weeks anyways, and that's after taxes are due. The 18th is when they're due, and we won't write this check till the 22nd or something like that, so.
So we're paying them early. They'll be happy.
So what's the date we're gonna send this out on?
2 weeks from today.
When?
2 weeks from today, what's the 23rd?
7/23, so it
Well-
won't hit the mail till the 24th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is.
7/24?
Yeah, is when they'll have it available to them, the check available to them. Taxes are due the 18th, and technically, they're getting it a month early, if that's all right with you guys.
Well, I'll make a motion that we pay Idlewise to collect the taxes of $395,765 on July 24th of 2024.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll probably get you out for that too.
We're scratching that off the agenda.
Yeah, that's all set.
He's not here. Mr. Aruda, do you have a list?
Just a couple of things, nothing dramatic. Budget's looking okay, nothing, we're not getting a terrible lot of ground, but we're not losing ground either. We're at 52%, 52.3% of the year, we've burnt 53.6% of our budget.
Keep into account that there's 30,000 that needs to go back in there
Yeah.
from maintenance
Yeah.
funds. So if you add all that stuff back in, we're actually
Mhm.
right on par.
Yeah. Transfer station income for the year so far, we have collected $33,459 as opposed to last year, $33,174. Only a couple $100 of last year. My favorite subject, transfer station. Had a couple of issues this week. One was particularly unnerving. A lot of people showing up with other people's stickers. Waving stickers. So now I'm taking stickers out of their hand, walk around, check the plate. Well, this is my brother's car, this is my cousin's car, this is a truck of rubbish from an Airbnb, and I have a Conway sticker You try to explain to them, well, the Airbnb is in Madison, I don't care, you belong in Conway. There's no easy answer to this, this is just an ongoing problem. But, I know the STR guys are not here, they probably really feel about hearing this. We got people in town that have stickers that run cleaning businesses, and I know for a fact they're hauling rubbish from other towns. But I have no way to prove it, other than the fact they told me. You know, when you start a conversation, say, boy, you haul off a lot of trash. Well, I've got a business, Airbnb cleanup. I say, wow, there's a lot of rubbish. Yeah, we start in Bartlett and work our way down. Okay? That's what you get for being a nice guy and asking, and then it drives you crazy because you want to rip your eyeballs out. We'll make a concerted effort to try to stop all that. We'll do the best we can. But people go flying by at 40 miles an hour waving a sticker at you, you know. It's a lot of money. You haul in one container 13 tons?
I'm sorry?
You haul one of the containers at 13 tons?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That was just one container, and you've got, there's another one that's probably,
That was 9 tons, I took that up this morning.
it was 9 tons. So, anyhow, I had one other thing. It has come to my attention because I draw like flies. And Bob's not here. I had a complaint that some people are using campers to live in on Davis Pond. I'll bring it up with Bob next time I see him. They're living permanently in campers. You're not supposed to be doing that. Anyhow, that's all I got.
I got nothing tonight. Linda?
No. Nothing, thank you.
Josh?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, last week we rented a vacuum. We cleaned every catch basin in town. There was like 38. Sucked every catch. A lot of them were full to the top. Obviously we mowed, we whacked everything, cut down some trees. We did get called out on Sunday morning for, there was a few trees that came down across low ramp, yeah, said that. Oh,
You got called too?
Just the normal stuff, obviously we mowed everything. We're gonna start the shoulder work, putting in the shoulders, and I was thinking about doing it next week, or a couple weeks on the 22nd. We were gonna start, the week of the 22nd, start doing the shoulders on the new pavement, but it's been so hot. We were just sitting down at the elementary school yesterday with an excavator. It was just sitting in one spot, not even turning the tires. It started sinking into the hot top. And so we might wait till it cools down a little bit before we start running the excavator over our brand new hot top.
Yep. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, and then the screen the sand. We can screen out the sand anytime. So
We're not gonna touch it till fall,
okay,
so
Alright, so we
whenever
can
whenever you want to screen,
okay.
it's fine.
We'll wait till it'll probably be sometime in August.
Perfect.
That's it.
Dave, you got anything to add?
I do, I wasn't gonna bring anything up about it tonight, but since John did, and the transfer station is not my favorite topic either. Got an email from Lisa Arundel up at Mount Carberry. And New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services has contracted with MSW consultants to conduct waste characterization study, and they've chosen Mount Carberry for that study. And what they're going to be doing is analyzing types and quantities of solid waste disposal in New Hampshire. So like I said, Mount Carberry has been chosen for that site, and they are going to be this, next week, doing gate surveys, but August 5th, the week of August 5th, they're going to be hand sorting through MSW up there.
Oh.
And they're going to be visual surveys of C&D and bulky loads. So where I'm going with that is maybe get that week of August 5th through the 10th, Jim Hayford to be at the transfer station with you guys.
Going through the trash, sorting the trash.
First time.
Joking aside, people think that they're hiding stuff in those trash bags, but those compactors rip those things apart and it comes spilling out up there. And all their household hazardous materials, mostly gallons full of paint, come running out of the container. And the guys that are running the equipment up there say, hey, there's paint in that. Yeah, I know there is. But for this week, they're gonna have a team of people up there going through our loads as we dump them off. So we need maybe an extra person that we could have, because all of us are licensed with the DPW. I have to drive, so I won't be there.
Oh.
Just count yourself right out of there.
One of us should be an extra person at the compactors, and when you hear something clanking, hook it, bring it back up with the person right there. Because the last thing I want to see is a paint can full coming out of the back of that container, because they will look at the name on the door of that truck and say, you know, what's this doing?
That all sounds great, but it's more than a can of paint that makes noise going down the chute.
But
I mean,
it's
we've
not
got
just
bottles
that,
after
but they
bottle.
hide gallons of you name what, you name it. They-
Oh, I
they-
believe
You know, but it's coming out up there, it's seen, so I don't know how this is gonna go down up there. I only got this email yesterday, so,
We're not gonna
they're
be the
gonna
only
look
town
into, you know,
having
hand
problems.
sorting of waste and sample collection up there. And it's like, you know, maybe we should just not haul that week. I don't know. You know.
That's probably not a bad idea.
But it might be a good educational week for the townspeople to, you know, you're not hiding anything, we know what's going on, but we gotta knock it off. Or at least try to curb some of it. So, that's coming down the highway in August.
So it's August 6th, just for 1 week?
August 5th through the 10th, and they're gonna be physically going through the loads that get dumped up there. Boy, I wouldn't wanna do that.
That's Old Home Week.
That's Old Home Week, great. And I didn't call down to Donovan Spring today, but he told me that truck was starting to be built last week and we'd see it by the 20th. So, I'm afraid to call, but that's what he told me. He said, no, it's next in line, so it couldn't come any too soon. So probably, hopefully by the next selectmen's meeting, we either have it in service or, actually, we probably won't because we gotta finish out, you guys have paperwork to do, I guess.
I don't think so.
No?
No, you're all good for paperwork. It would just be registering it.
We're gonna need a couple of people up there. Because literally every bag that goes down that chute makes noise.
Yeah, I
And
know.
if we have to pull every bag out, I mean, every bag that goes down makes noise.
You know,
Because I stand.
I wish you
there.
hadn't said anything, Dave. No, honestly, because you get all worried about it, and
I'm not worried about
every
it.
town we're no different than any town in the
Right.
state of New Hampshire. If anything, we're probably better, and if the DES or whoever catches us and we, you know, made a mistake, you're not gonna have zero, you know,
Yeah,
incidents up there or whatever. They're gonna find something. If they wanna find something, they're gonna find something.
Yeah.
You know, we just gotta do the best you can and don't have to get all stressed out about it and hire it. I mean, you could hire 20 people up there.
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I understand. I just don't wanna see a 5-gallon pail of paint pouring out the back of it as I'm dumping it off. So,
If you do, you do, it's gonna happen. You don't wanna see a, bag of baby diapers either, or dog crap, but I mean, that happens every time,
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
We'll forgive you
Guess
this
I'll be
one,
pushing
Steve.
the broom the rest of the week.
I'll drive the truck that day, how about that?
Are you here on behalf of the chief, Lieutenant?
I am.
What do you got?
The boat's still in the water finally, so if you need help with the raft.
There you go.
All right, you gotta volunteer.
We have a generous resident in town that's letting us keep it nearby, just like last year. Radar trailers have been deployed. It seems to really be working well on 41 and the S-curves by the water. I sat below it several times just as reinforcement, and people were pretty compliant with the speed. So we're looking to move it around town. So if residents have speed complaints or a good place, good ideas to put it, we'll deploy it out for a few days at a time. I've been proactively looking for candidates to fill a position after the chief leaves. Unfortunately, the candidate I did have that was certified got a counter offer, so I am we're going to be putting out another ad to see if we can get interest, either certified or uncertified. It's just there's openings everywhere in the county, so we're all in the same boat, and it just happens to be our turn to be short-staffed. But we'll manage it. We've got pretty good coverage still, and we're still getting called out for trees down across the road. So, but it's been busy. It's that time of year.
Yeah.
Thank you. Heather?
Summer camp is okay. I need a tent put up at some point. We're having a tough time with the water still, but that's it.
Did we didn't get anywhere with the water in the lower shed? I think I asked Bill earlier.
Yeah,
that he
yeah,
did.
it should be all fixed.
Have you tried it?
I was told not to use it.
Oh, not to drink out of it. Oh, not
Well,
to
I
use
already
it
knew
all.
that part, but
But it should be
I
all
thought-
fixed?
Yeah, it's all fixed.
Oh,
okay.
well, there you go,
Well,
problem
there.
solved.
Pretty sure John Herto told me to not use
I
it.
was there, he did say that.
Thank you.
That was on Thursday?
Thank you, Dave. Cause I'm like, am I losing my mind, really?
Yeah,
So
don't
when
drink
was that?
it.
That was a week ago. Yeah, he said, I mean, I don't wanna say, go
Well,
into
he came in the
detail,
next day
but
and fixed it.
he said a few things. So I can use it.
It is fixed.
Okay,
It is fixed.
sweet.
But do you wanna use the well at the upper well?
We'd like to use both. I've been using the upper well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the way I understood it, so John came in the next day and fixed it.
Okay.
And so like the sprinklers and everything's working, but we really shouldn't be using that well. It's a dug well and tested positive for E. coli there if you're using it, not that it has now. But if the kids are gonna be playing in the water, we really should use the well, the artesian well,
The upper one,
the upper
right.
water, the upper well. And we still should get that tested, which I think we're in the process of.
Yes.
This has never been.
So should I not use it?
I think
The
he
lower one?
disconnected all the, even like the hoses and everything from that well. The spigot and just got rid of it all.
Okay. So we have the upper one, but again, I mean, it's one hose, so one sprinkler for 50 kids is a little rough. Obviously, you all know I don't like to complain, but I just feel bad, you know, it's hot. Today we went back to school, watched a movie to kind of get a break, you know, and
How long ago has it been since we tested the lower wells? Did we talk about this last meeting? Can we test them again?
I don't know, it's been a couple of years.
Just to see if they're safe to play in.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking to drink it, but
No, no one's drinking.
if we can test them again just to see if they're usable.
Sure.
Oh, well, we'd have to test both of them because we don't know which one of them feeds that.
Which,
Well, you're gonna test it from there anyway, you're not gonna, yeah. We don't know which one we're testing when we test it. but-
Well,
We'll test all this.
my understanding is Dylan Elders mentioned to me the next day, he said there is a way to test those wells. They use tablets that they throw down and they're colored tablets.
What's it test for?
I don't know much about it, but he mentioned it the next day, so yeah, you can test to see which well the water's coming from.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they put a color tablet.
I thought you meant test for like E. coli by dropping
No,
something.
just the color, yeah, just to see what
But
well you're drawing.
if we could test that spigot at the lower shed, just to see what we're getting out of it, see if it's safe to swim in. And then you could potentially use both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to have two hoses, like, would be nice. We had a bee issue today, but that seems like we could fix that, it's pretty easy. I feel like it's the problem is like where we can use the hoses is where the bee issue is. So it's just like, today was like, one thing after another. But again, it is what it is, everyone's busy, I don't, you
I know
know.
you guys usually park yourselves down on the lower field, but why not park up on the upper
We
field?
haven't been because of the water. So we've been parking ourselves at the top,
In
like,
between the two, right?
yeah, the new grass area, I keep calling it, in between the fields, yeah. And the hose connects to that
Why
tank
not set yourself up behind the sheds on the
the
ball
other
field?
way, yeah,
And you're only 10, 15 feet from the shed.
yeah. Not a lot of room over there, there's like big rocks, and then the sand.
Inside the field?
Oh, in the field?
On the outfield,
Sure,
right on the
okay.
other side of the
We try
fence.
that, yep, yep. Yep,
And then you're not that far from the shed.
mm-hmm,
And you have the splitter and you're being not so far away, pressure won't be as much of an issue.
yep. Yeah, and then I have talked to everybody about, I feel like everybody I've talked to about the tent. Mike was my original person, and he is gonna work on it, do it, I just have to wait for him to get back.
I think he's the only one with a key to that shed, right? The old homemade
I
shed.
walked out this morning to see, it does not have a DPW lock on it, it's a
Yeah.
keyed lock.
There's that lock, that shed belongs to Old Home Week.
I'll volunteer my time if you guys set one up. I've never done it, so
I don't
I
have
think it takes some manpower to get one of those up.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that, yeah, have volunteered to help too. It's just getting it and looking at it, I mean, it's good condition, I'm assuming,
We're gonna use it the first full week of August for Old Home Week.
right?
How big is it? You know,
The smaller ones are, oh geez, I wanna say 50 by 20 or
Wow.
something. They're pretty big.
So you need a smaller one. A smaller one would do it.
If we could find one. She was trying to rent one, but the expense to rent one is outrageous.
is it?
I'd love for the rec to buy one, but again, that's not in our budget this year either, but just to have one of our own would be nice, I mean, we'll use it every year. That really makes the most sense to me, but,
Could you get a couple of those, like you see people have in their backyards, just with little small fold-up ones, just for kids to get undercover for
we have easy ups,
easy ups?
it's just
But
we have a lot of kids.
Just for them to get out of the sun if they're.
Yeah,
Well, we have 2 of them and they're
Yeah.
10 by 10
yeah.
There's
for
some,
40 kids.
there's
Well,
only two
no,
upstairs?
yeah.
I took one to the lake, a double to the lake as a backup there too,
Gotcha.
so, yeah.
So we have 2 over here, but like I said, they're 10 by 10 and you've got 40 kids even, or
Yeah.
46 kids, something like that.
And then, I mean, even the location now, I feel like is in question because I feel like where Mike and I had first agreed on where to put it, there's those wire wheel things over there where I think he
The
thought,
fiber.
yeah,
We can move those, they're almost done. They're supposed to be done by, they told me they were gonna be done by Friday
okay.
with that.
So that would be
Cable
the
out,
only
but
other concern,
We can move those, that's,
Okay.
they're here as a guest.
right,
Obviously, they're putting in nice fiber optic cable for us, so, but those can be moved.
Okay, okay. So, yeah.
I just, at this point though, what is it? Mike's gonna be back Thursday,
Night.
so he's probably not gonna wanna put it up on Friday.
Right,
You'll have it up for 3 weeks and then we'll have to take it down for Old Home Week, because we're gonna have to move it to wherever they want it for Old Home Week,
I
unless he
think
was,
he was hoping to keep it up
Where it
for,
was?
yes,
okay, perfect.
because we were trying to not have it on the field.
Yeah,
For that reason.
that was the plan for the committee, was to try to move things off of the ball field itself as much as possible,
Mhm.
as far as parking and driving stakes and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part about putting up those tents, is driving stakes.
Mhm.
Anything else?
That's
Other
it.
than, we don't have a choice really, other than wait for Mike for a tent.
Wait for Mike.
But
Going to
I would
Aquaboggan on Friday. Woo.
plan
That'd
on
be fun.
budgeting for your own tent next year.
I think so,
Something
yeah.
probably a little less
Yeah,
hard to put up.
yeah.
What's the cost? Do you get costs?
I mean, when I talked to my friend that owns the tent company, he's like, he wouldn't even tell me, cause he's like, it's a fortune. You guys have tents, use a tent. I'm like, no, really, we really should have our own. But,
I wanted to say it was gonna be close to $3,000 for the 8 weeks or something
to rent it,
to rent it.
so to buy one, I can only imagine.
But we can probably find something a little bit cheaper for next year.
I just feel like we're getting bigger and bigger every year, you know, with more kids, more,
We need to build it.
yeah, well, that too.
Just go ahead and ask the taxpayers for a couple $1 million.
Hello.
But and then this year, you just don't have the gym to,
No, and that was the other, right, you're right,
That's the
that's the big problem, right, normally we have the gym. Next year it'll be air conditioned.
yeah, so you won't want the tent.
We don't even
You
need
won't
the
want
tent next year, you're right, yeah.
You'll still
Forget
want the
the tent.
tent. They don't wanna spend all day in the gym. Alright. You good?
Yep.
Sure, Damon.
Got a little
Are you a
observation.
department head now?
Sure. Hey, I just noticed, or just thought about how, Madison might be the only town around that stood up to SDRs and sort of won. I think of Freedom, and I think of Conway getting, not winning. So I was just wondering if you had a thought about that, you guys prevailed in some way.
So far,
So far, we need to go to court first, which is coming,
Right,
so we'll see.
all right, very good.
I'm not gonna put my foot in my mouth yet.
All right, fair enough, thank you.
Thank you. Signature items.
That's,
Workers'
from
comp.
the, yes, doesn't really give you a spot to sign, but I put a little yellow spot there for, it's just one signature. The last one we have up there is from 2018 and John signed it. Oh, yeah. That was,
That one was just me.
I know we're good.
that one is actually Megan Thompson.
Yeah, she's already on the committee.
Yeah, and she took she's either has been or will be going to get her fingerprints. And that's just, if you guys don't mind signing under me on the green sheet there, that's just to say that it's okay to pay. If I was paying them the normal time, I wouldn't think of anything to go through the process, but it's a month early, so.
That's it. Motion to adjourn,
second,
all in favor?
aye.
Aye.